Hey folks, welcome back to BetMeADate. Today I thought it would be really fun to do something a little different. I'm going to be talking about Esther Perel and Dan Savage, some of their similarities and some of their differences. Subscribe to our channel for more tips on dating for introverts every Sunday and Thursday at 6 p.m. I'm Dr. Aviva Gaskill. I'm a psychologist who's helped dozens of patients overcome dating challenges. So I follow the work of Dan Savage and Esther Perel closely, but they're very, very different in their approaches. I actually had a colleague recently tell me that they thought they were similar, and I was like, really? Because I'm not sure that they are. I get that some of their viewpoints are similar, but there's a lot of differences between them. There's a lot of fun things that I wanted to kind of highlight about them and compare their styles. So one thing about Dan Savage that is really interesting is that he's really more of a commentator or a sex advisor, a sex columnist. I think he started out with a column. He talks a lot about the kink world. He talks a lot about folks in the LGBTQI community, but he does work with or sort of talk about folks who are in the trans community. He also talks a lot about living a monogamish lifestyle is what he calls it. Esther Perel, who is amazing, and I met her, by the way, once upon a time a few years ago. She's awesome. Has a very different way of talking about things. She is a trained therapist. I believe she's a licensed marriage and family therapist. So she's a mental health provider. She is licensed. And she does not work with trans folks at all. So Esther Perel really has a focus on the enjoyment of sex, like how fun sex can be, and kind of making sex like hot and fun in your relationship. To me, Esther Perel gets a lot deeper as a therapist. I think she really has a general, like really deep understanding of what human beings get out of sex and relationships. So she talks about personality and the push pull of different aspects of a relationship. There are a few similarities. One thing that I think is also really interesting is that they both talk about the need for taking time for a date night, for both like getting out and just being together, and also like just to have sex, right? Like getting out and setting aside time to be together. Because in today's busy lifestyle, and they both really acknowledge this, it's something that we don't have enough time for. And we really have to lay the groundwork in our relationships if we want to make time for sex and we want to make time for our relationship and for the person that we're with. One thing that I think is really interesting is that Esther Perel really talks about Dan Savage as like a kindred spirit, and she thanks him in the beginning and the acknowledgments in the State of Affairs book. So I guess there's some similarities after all, but I do think that there are also a lot of differences. I'm really curious to hear what you guys think. So please comment below. I'd love to hear what you think about Dan Savage and Esther Perel, what their similarities are, what their differences are, who they are, how they are to you. I really respect both of them in very different ways and am big fans. Would love to hear from you. Please comment below, like, subscribe, ring the bell, all the goods.